Welcome to the final e-lecture for week 2, where we're going to be looking at the cost of different media to help you estimate a budget for your campaign. You need to provide a budget in your creative brief, and the calculations for this need to be shown in Task A under Campaign Delivery Methods and Media Research. In this e-lecture, I'm going to explain how you can try and arrive at a budget for your brief. There are a few ways that you can try and calculate the budget for your campaign. Firstly, based on the cost of previous campaigns that your brand have run, you could estimate how much they might be able to spend on this campaign. The second method would be to use a bottom-up approach, which is where you would decide exactly which media and timescales you would like for your campaign, and then cost out each piece of media and add it up. In this e-lecture, I'm going to be outlining the approximate costs of different media to help you with this. The third method is the top-down approach. So this is based on the company turnover. If you can get hold of your company accounts, you could guess that they might spend approximately 7 to 10% of their gross profits on marketing communications each year. So you need to think about how many campaigns they might run in a year and divide the number of campaigns by that total budget to get an approximation of how much money they might spend on the campaign. But just be aware, because if the accounts aren't for the UK, you need to take that into consideration and think how much of their overall budget they would spend on their UK campaign. There are also two different elements of a budget for a campaign. There is the cost of production and design. So if you are running a TV campaign, this could be really high. Secondly, there is the media buying budget. It's up to you. You can either state an overall budget, or you could break it down into a production budget and a media budget. It's up to you. I'm now going to run through some of the different costs of advertising on different media to give you so that you get a general feel for the costs involved. So, a full page colour advert in the Daily Mail would cost approximately £50,000. If you were to show a cinema advert with a blockbuster film through Pearl and Dean for a week, this would cost approximately £90,000. Now we're going to have a look at out-of-home advertising. If you were doing a campaign using 20-foot by 10-foot billboards, if you had 10 of these in a regional area for a month, that would set you back £4,000. If you had 100 of these billboards nationally for 1 month, that would set you back about £30,000. TV adverts. One transition on ITV around a popular film or drama would cost approximately £45,000. Radio adverts are a lot more cost effective compared to TV in terms of reach. A 1-week campaign with a 30-second advert shown 3 times a day, this would cost about £500 on a local radio station, about £2,500 on a regional radio station, and about 10 grand for a national radio station. So as a rule of thumb, a radio advert might cost around £2 per 1,000 listeners. So you can see it is really a cost-effective way to advertise. On top of all these costs, obviously, you've also got production and design costs. What I've just said here is they're all approximate costs. I don't expect you to provide a detailed breakdown of the budget for your campaign, but I do expect you to do some rough calculations to ensure the budget is realistic for your brand and you're able to achieve the objective that you've set yourself with the budget you've allocated. So on your screen now is a rate card for digital advertising from Vogue. A similar rate card is probably available for most media, so it's up to you to research this once you've chosen which media you want for your campaign. But don't be concerned if you can't find the information you want. You can just estimate the costs based on other things that you find. So if you have a look at this rate card, you'll see that most of the costs here are stated as CPM, or cost per 1,000 impressions. So this can be really confusing for people because the M in CPM actually stands for 1,000 and not a million. So you can see here that the cost of having a leaderboard or a banner advert on the Vogue website would be £30 for every 1,000 times it's viewed. So if you wanted it to be viewed 10,000 times, the cost would be £300. So we can estimate here that the Vogue website clearly has a lot of traffic to its homepage, because the cost of sponsoring the homepage for just 7 days is 45 grand. So if we could estimate from that, at a rate of £30 per 1,000 impressions, I would expect that to receive approximately 1.5 million impressions for that investment of 45 grand. Also on this rate card is the price to sponsor their email list, which is stated at £65 per 1,000 emails. So for your campaign, you might choose to advertise on very specific websites, or you could just choose a blanket approach and target certain types of websites for certain interests. For example, just advertising on all websites relating to football. So if you look on your screen now, you will see the rate card for the Vogue printed magazine. So this gives you an idea of the costs for print advertising. On the back cover of their monthly magazine, it would set you back £42,500 to advertise. It's about the same cost as sponsoring their website homepage for 1 week. On the rate card, there are also rates for half-page adverts, full-page fold-out adverts, as well as prices to include scent strips for perfumes. So I suggest at this point you pause the video and spend a moment studying this rate card. If you are going to be doing any magazine advertising or out-of-home advertising for your campaign, you can probably find the rate cards for these things easily online. So on the screen now is an example of the kinds of budget estimates you may want to make for your campaign. So I've got a rough estimate for print advertising with a full page in the Daily Mail every day for 1 month. I've also got an estimate on the screen for some radio advertising, so for a national campaign for 4 weeks with 3 ads a day. And I've also got a price here for some direct mail, and I've also included a cost here for sponsoring a Snapchat lens for the weekend, and that costs around £350,000. So in our face-to-face session, we're going to be discussing costs and also doing a Kahoot quiz for you to try and guess the costs of various forms of advertising. So thanks for this e-lecture. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in class soon.